All right, welcome back to the program. It's still Daybreak Africa, reaching you from the Lagos studios of KAFTAN Television. Now it's time for discourse. And of course, you know that this is Business Tuesday on Daybreak Africa. So we'll be talking about some of the businesses around us. Today, we're talking about the business of event planning. And to talk about this morning, we've been joined by Florah Rojaiye. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Can't you say our guest is ready at time?
Of course, as always.
All right, let's go straight to the business of the day, which is talking about event planning. Now, my very first question would be, let's hear a bit about you, just a little bit about you and event planning as a business.
Okay, my name is Florence. I started this business 5 years ago. I actually started, I have a passion for just making people happy on their wedding day, on their event day. So like, I just followed my passion, and the journey has been sweet and sour. It has been beautiful, all the same. Learning, unlearning on the journey. Yeah. Okay.
Now, I feel one of the parts that gets me personally confused, or probably maybe not so explanatory to me, is the difference between event planning and event decor.
Okay.
What is the difference? Because a lot of us just believe that event planner, event decor, fashion designer, tailor, all of them, they're in the same WhatsApp. So please just help us clarify for those who are looking to start the business, because most times people want to do certain things and then they find themselves not doing that particular thing. I remember my husband at the time was supervising a training, and the training was for interior decor.
Okay.
Now a lot of people registered for that training, about 300 people. And when they got to class, they saw that they had to do drawings, they had to use 3D and a lot of other stuff, and they were asking, this is not what we planned for. And the teacher now told them, most of you wanted to do interior design. I mean interior decor, but what we called you for is interior design. So they didn't know the difference. So I'd like you to clarify, is there any difference, or it's a bit of both here and there?
Okay, thank you. There's a big difference. Like when it comes to event decor, event planning, event coordination, they are all different aspects of the events industry. So, okay, for event planning, an event planner is someone that's like, she's the one that brings synergy to all the vendors that are coming to work for a particular event, be it wedding, be it corporate events, like conferences, be it burial. Like an event planner is the one that would do your budgeting. I would handle basically the event flow, the process, the thought process, the ideas, everything, just bringing everything to life. Do you get? So for event planning. For decor, the design, if you have an event planner, your decorator will work with an event planner.
Okay.
So the design will have a floor plan. The space we are using, if we want to use this space we have here, we would actually have a plan of how we are going to transform the space that we have, be it outdoor, indoor. Your event decorator would advise you the best design that would go with the space you have. So your event decorator will come up with the colors. Okay, working with the planner and the client, it has to flow. There has to be
synchronization.
Exactly. But even if you don't have a planner, you can still work with the event decorator.
Okay.
You get?
Okay.
So an event planner is not an event decorator. It's very different.
Two different jobs.
An event planner is not a caterer. An event planner is not a baker.
Okay, have you ever come across people that, maybe a client that engaged you and is expecting you to do all everything?
Okay, so I think in this part of the world, like most people don't really understand the word event planner. like majority. Like we just have, most people that already have a knowledge of this event planning is people probably that have traveled out, the people that are in the industry already working. Like if you have an idea of, like you are either an usher, you've been exposed to what event planning is. But just like an ordinary Nigerian, I think a lot of people don't know what an event planner is. So an event planner is not the one that will cook for you. That's the job of the caterer. An event planner is not the one that will bake your cake. An event planner will just advise you, okay, for your event, I think this vendor is the best. If you are getting married and she's getting married, we might not necessarily need to use the same vendor because you have different personalities and you have different tastes.
Right, very important.
So delivery is very key. Delivery, for me, for every client, I try to understand their personality. After understanding their personality, then I know the best vendor, the best person to handle your job. So we can have a perfect delivery. So I would advise you, I would probably give you testimonials of the events these people have handled before. I would maybe have them send their page, their handle, their website, basically their resume, what they've done before. So because
you can properly vet it.
Exactly. So an event planner like basically has to vet, like we have a whole lot we do, not just okay. She's an event planner now. Let her just know. So for me, like professionally planning, every vendor has their own job description. Every vendor would have to make sure their detail, for every detail that has been given to every vendor, we make sure that you deliver. We make sure that you bring that client, exactly. You bring it to life. You bring every dream. If I'm a bride and I've always dreamt of a particular way my event or my wedding will go when I'm getting married, it has to come to life.
Now, you've mentioned something about dream, but before I come up with ask my next question, let me allow Grace because I know she has something.
Okay, I have questions, and we know that we interact with vendors a lot. Like everything you do when it comes to an event is interacting with vendors basically. So now the question is, how do you interact with vendors? Because vendors also have their own vision and they want to project something, and then you also have your clients as well who have a vision. So how do you merge both together to bring out something beautiful, something that the client
it's like
actually
the bridge in between.
Yes, in between.
Yes.
You have to make sure that the vendors understand what your clients want, so that there won't be any issue on the day of the event.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so before not just me, I and my team, because I work with a team, and before I take any decisions, I like to carry my team along, ask questions. Should we do this? Okay, I'm the head planner, but then I like to seek opinion. What do you think? I like to allow my team as well take decisions and say, okay, this is better. But for vendors, the way I actually get my vendors or bring them on board for every event is I try to understand the client and the vendor. You are coming to render a service, yes, but then you have a personality. For me, aside delivery, character is very key. I have to work with somebody that will not stress me, that will not stress my clients, that would handle situations when it becomes tough. Because when it's getting close to the event, everybody's emotions, everybody's anxiety is just all over the place. I need to work with somebody that will be able to manage anything that comes up. Yes. So I understand your personality, I understand your character, and then okay, I bring you on the job. Knowing that you can deliver in that area. So aside the fact that okay, you are a decorator, there are other things I look out for. Yes, your character, your work ethics, and
attention to detail.
Exactly. Does it show up early, or does it give excuses every time it's being called
You
up?
tell them magenta and they're telling you no, it's purple.
Exactly. So all of these things, that's how I get these vendors on board. And I like, as much as possible, I like to work with professional vendors. Even if the world is growing.
When you say professional, do you mean experienced as well, or does
not just experience? Not just experience. You can have someone that's been in the industry for 20 years, but the person is not. The person does not present themselves in such a way that your business can stand out anywhere in the world.
There are people who have been old in businesses, and you find that they are just stuck in the past.
Exactly.
They don't want to evolve.
Exactly.
With times, yeah?
So you have to evolve. I need to, because as I'm growing, my vendors should be growing.
Yes. You should be on the same level at least.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when we are not catching up, one person is
dragging. That can be stressful.
Exactly.
Now let's talk about bringing the imagination of the client to life. Now this comes to play especially in weddings. When you're handling an event, maybe a funeral, it might not be much of an issue because many of the aggrieved or the grieving parties may not necessarily pay attention to those things because of the nature of events. But when you have weddings, there's a way people want their weddings to look. Now, how, let's say I'm just starting this business, just like maybe a week old or a beginner, so to speak. How do I manage miscommunication? Because I, for one, as a journalist, I know that people tend to not communicate what they need properly. Someone can tell you that, oh, I want a yellow dress, whereas what they actually want is lemon. But because for them, yellow, lemon,
they are in the same family.
They just put it together and they expect you to automatically know that this is what I want. So now, how do you manage miscommunication when it comes to bringing the dreams or the vision of your client to life?
Okay, thank you. Over the years, as I was growing, I used to have this issue with not having a detailed what the client description of what the client wants. So I've come to understand and realize that it's better to send details, have pictorial representation
of what you want.
No matter how you explain to me, I would always ask for pictures.
So that you don't tell me that, no, this is what I meant.
I always ask for pictures, I always ask for videos, so that I'll understand. If you want yellow, if you want mustard yellow, if you want
custard yellow.
Exactly. If you want, like, I need to know exactly what you want. So if you send me a picture of what you want, I will understand that. Then I also like to confirm details. A bride, for example, will tell you, I want so and so dress. At the end of the day, when we get to the store, they'll change their mind. Or they'll tell you, no, I never said this, I said that. So over time, as we plan, when we have meetings, when we get to discuss, or when we're chatting, I try to reconfirm again. Even if you have told me before, I want us to have, number one, we'll have the record, and then I want you to refresh your memory that this is what you want. Because planning is a whole lot, and you can forget some details. So as part of why you hired me as your planner, I will remember you some details. You said you wanted this. Your family said they wanted this. So another way we check all these things is we have meetings over time. We have virtual meetings, and then we have stipulated times where we can have physical meetings. So all of these things, how we check, we put all of these in check, we make sure that we have meetings, we make sure we ask details over time, and then we make sure we check with the clients before taking any decision.
Okay, so moving on to challenges of the business. We know that every business has different challenges that can come up with it. So what are the challenges you might face when it comes to event planning as a business, from the vendors aspect, from the family, because we know when it comes to events, families literally hold the event. Exactly. We know how weddings can be, and how do you manage all of these things to make sure that every event is one that people can come talk about over and over again.
This aspect is very over time it's not been so easy, especially in this part of the world where the mother is a planner, the uncle is a planner, the friends are planners, assistant planners,
sister, uncle, someone.
So as much as possible with experience, I try to carry everybody along, but there has to be a process. For me, process matters. Everybody I can't basically speak to everybody. So at the beginning, I will speak to the clients first, the couple, if I'm doing a wedding. But if it's a corporate event, I'll probably have a meeting maybe with the planning committee, maybe with the board of directors. I'll have direct contacts of people that I can speak to at first before every other person joins in. We have what we call vendors meeting. So if you're a family member, before we have this vendors meeting, messages will be sent across and everybody will be invited. If you want to come and request anything before the event day, that's the day we put in all the finishing touches, and we'll listen to everybody, both the family members, the vendors, the couple. Basically everybody will just come and say, okay, this is what I want. So everybody will be carried along. Exactly. And before then, most times we have meetings with the couple and their family members. Yes, we do.
So you get a clear picture of what everybody wants. Not that it's, oh, my mother-in-law said this, this said that, and before you know it's a total mess. Okay. I think that's a good one. Now, very quickly, before we wrap up this segment, can give, for starters, people just want to start the business. I know it's a very profitable business, but then people need tips and ideas on what and what not to do. Very quickly.
I'll say if you have a passion for events, there's no business that is easy, especially in this part of the world. There's no business you want to venture into that is easy. Event planning is a very tasking job, because you're dealing with human beings, you're dealing with people's lives when it comes to their day. Like, it's once in a lifetime, it's for wedding. Like, it's an event. Like, what we're doing now is an event. We're having an event. Like, okay, so we're not going to have this moment again. If we want to have this moment again, it will be another day, another time. It will not be the same time. So you have to understand that you need to learn. So I would advise that you take a course on it. You would take a course on it and understand what you are getting yourself into. In your course, I'm sure there'll be you would handle. They'll give you task of handling events and planning firsthand. You'll be on the events day to coordinate and understand how it feels to do the job, take on the job. So from there you gain experience, and also it's not a bed of roses. Like, it takes time. Success is a gradual process. So if you just want to, I want to be like Zafaya, I want to make it, I want to be a top, like, for me, that's not, because of my passion, that's not what I seek. I like process. I like to grow. I like process. I like this event to be better than the other event.
Yes.
If I made a mistake in this aspect, it has to be better. So that's the satisfaction I derive from it. So if you want to venture into it, ensure that you train with the best hands. Ensure that you are willing, because it's a very tasking job. If you're not ready, if you don't have the passion for it, you will see it as stress. It will be too stressful.
By the time the client shouts something.
Exactly.
You would know the difference.
Yes.
They are family members. So then you have to, in your courses, you would learn how to manage people. You should have like a special calling in managing people. So that's basically the first thing you should do. And then you should, if possible, though in this part of the world, most people just start. You just start without any capital. You just okay, let me have an Instagram page, let me go for my training, let me, like, if possible, have a capital. Have a capital, have a business plan, and have a capital. Start like a tangible, not so much, but then have like a capital, and from there it will make your life easier. If you have a sponsor or something, but if you don't have, then be ready to really fight your battle.
Thank you so much for that. I think the take home for me is having a capital, because a lot of people tend to believe that event planning is just for you to sit down and write what to do, whereas you actually need money to do some of the things. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the program. All right, viewers, we're going to quick break now. When we return, Daybreak continues. Stay with us.